Welcome to this first in a series of short reflections on life. My life, your life. Life as we're living it every day now in these times. These times which we are all well aware are extremely challenging. They're challenges with enormous positive potential and also with the excessive negative destructiveness that is part of daily life all the way around this world, this globe, and our human family. We talk about times, our times. It's extremely difficult to try and use any modern language without reference to time. Either linear time or cyclic time, but time. It is soaked into our consciousness that we live in time. And yet we also know that research into the existence of time has been going on for centuries, and we've reached no final answer. Do a past, a present and a future exist or not? The most recent research that I have seen was at the end of October 2013, so quite recent, where 2 or 3 physicists working together for 4 or 5 years with a model had come to the final conclusion that time is an illusion. And we're still searching. Time, past, future, do they exist or not? Well, whatever conclusion we ourselves have come to, it's a common experience of all of us, all humanity, that we see things change, that we live constantly in an environment of change, of flux. And trying to keep contact with it, we have calendars, agendas. Here's one, here it is, 2014, blank page. And then we pick it up. Good gracious. 365 24-hour periods. Am I going to be able to live all that? Have I done this 10 times before? 20, 30, 40, 50 times before? Time, notice, time. The experience of constant flow, of flux, of change. You can't avoid it. Physical change. From the moment of birth to the moment of death. Change. Day by day, hour by hour, we grow, our physical powers expand, reach their height, and begin to decline. Different stages for different people, but for all of us, it is the same. Our psychological powers also. Again, great differences in the rate of decline and the amount of decline in psychological powers. Memory, emotions, memory particularly, but still change from the beginning to the end. There is no standing still. We're on a journey from birth to death, all of us. We can't deny it. And when we sit back and accept seriously that we are on a journey, and it is a journey of change, we begin to hear again those questions which are basic to human life. Now, from where has all this come, this universe? And where is it going to? And why is it here at all? Again, endless research to try and discover the origins of this universe. We hear about them almost daily in our newspapers and television programs and so on. the search for those milliseconds after the Urknall. And even recently, we had researchers who'd spent 10 years trying to discover what was before the Big Bang, and coming to the conclusion that there was nothing. Big conclusion. No final answer again from science. We have theories as to how this universe will end. Again, another Big Bang, a crunch, a slow drifting away, a loss of contact. Who knows? We only guess that the billions of years it might take to happen. But a journey. The universe has been journeying, we calculate, for about 14.5 billion years. It's our measure. All we know is that it is constantly unfolding, expanding. So our life's experience is of our own physical body person, constantly changing, and of the universe around us, constantly changing. The answer to those questions then, have I researched with anything like the enthusiasm and the urgency of our cosmologists and physicists and biologists have researched the origins of this universe? Have I put anything like that amount of effort into researching where have I come from? Where am I going to? And why am I here? What is the purpose of it all? Mostly the scientists have left the answer to the question, why does this universe exist? They've left it severely alone. Philosophers have spent, and theologians of different traditions, have spent most of their time answering the question, why we exist. But just like everything else we've mentioned, there doesn't seem to be a final answer. Why should human life exist on little planet Earth? Of course, there is a possibility now, as we know, that there are at least 164 other Earth-like planets, or planets that could perhaps have life, or have had life. 164 minimum in our galaxy alone. You know, the Kepler telescope, before it came down in May, told us that. And what would we do with the next telescope that goes up in 2017, TESS, who they expect will be able to survey 2.5 billion stars, million stars at a time. Amazing. Life, the journey of the cosmos, the universe, and my life's journey. But journey there is. Where did it all begin, and where is it all going to end? And what is the purpose of it all? You know, it's only when I begin to discover where I have come from and where I'm going to, that I really can grasp that my being on this planet is not a mistake, it's not a random event. There is a purpose for my unique life being here. It's only when we realize that whatever the origin is of this universe, it is. Again, we are faced with two possibilities. Either there is a mysterious, non-physical power, being, source of all that exists, or not. Or, as many of our scientists and others are claiming, it's all a matter of unlikely, rare, improbable events, chemical events, a situation of circumstances that nobody could predict that brought this universe into existence. Now, if we stand back and answer those questions for ourselves at this moment. We have to say, where at this moment am I convinced this universe came from, and therefore I came from? The great mystery, the power, the spirit that is beyond our human grasp, or simply the rare event of circumstances coming together that produced the Urknall, the Big Bang. If there is a mystery, a source, then I am part of it. And so my life's journey here is only a journey from that source, that mystery, and back to that mystery. And when I know that, then I begin to realize that my being here is important. It's not an accident, it's not just a one-off event. There is a reason for my being alive on this planet Earth, and that my life's journey is just that. It's a journey in space-time, a journey with a purpose. If this is only a brief journey, then I'm part of the mystery that I came from and will return to. I must be spirit. I must be the mystery. Some expression, rather, of that mystery. Otherwise, I'm just a body psyche event in space-time. Something unimportant, something that's come and something that has gone and won't return, won't be repeated. It's essential for the journey, to make this journey well, to be able to live life to the full, to keep on making contact with my convictions in answer to those three questions. For those of us who come from the Christian tradition, though we could find similar expressions, I think, in all the scriptures of all traditions, but in the Christian tradition, you have that statement at the beginning of St. John's Gospel that says, and Jesus, knowing that he came from God and was returning to God, got on with the business that his life had come to express. It's this question of just simply knowing. And what should be in your minds at the moment is, well, okay, how do I answer those questions? And how do I name this mystery, this spirit, this non-physical source from which everything, including myself, has come, to which you will return? The religious traditions have used many different names, but they're just names. The source is one. There is only one source. And I am an embodiment. I am an expression in space-time of that source. We need to focus our reflections from now until we meet again for the second time in this series. I'm throwing out a few suggestions, giving you a few suggestions, which you might like to take a little time, some time now, just take a little space for yourself to sit and ask you some of these questions. What is the earliest memory I have of changing my physical environment? You know, when I was a small child, did we move house? Did we move out as a family from the village or the town or the country that we lived in into a new environment? And the effects of that. What was the longest journey I ever made out of my own country, or the first long journey I ever made by myself? Which of the journeys I've made in life was physically most demanding? Or which was psychologically was psychologically most demanding? And then, of course, well, frankly, do I enjoy travel? Do I look forward to it? or am I afraid of it? A few signposts that come out of our inner world. Can I remember the first important decision I made for myself, by myself, without the influence of parents or family or friends or teachers? Something I knew I needed to do, I wanted to do, and I was going to decide to do it. If I can go back to that and reflect on it, I realised that it was also a decision that was in some way life-changing or moved the direction of my life. Important. And then my life has gone through many different psychological landscapes. There have been times when I have felt successful, wanted, needed, full of hope, full of joy. How long did that last? Is it the predominant, most important experience or landscape on my life's journey? Or have there been periods when it has been more difficult, when the landscape has been hard, when the hope has seemed to die, depression, sickness, separation from those we loved, a sense of failure? How many different landscapes have I travelled through? And how did I travel? What kept me going on the journey? You know, when I realise where I came from, where I'm going to, obviously this psychological, physical journey with the body and the mind and the psyche is only part of the journey. The one who really travels in and through the body is myself, my spirit self. So when in this body-psyche journey through space-time did I really wake up to this, to who I really am? It might have been when I was a small child, and then it was forgotten and remembered later. And then the struggle began with doubts, and at the same time moments of unexpected certainty, absolute certainty about who was travelling and why. So time for reflection until we meet again, starting with any one of those points or taking up something else of your own. But we also need something very small but simple that fits into our everyday life to keep us in contact with life's journey. I'm going to suggest, if you have a calendar like this one, you know, where you tear a page off each day, or even one where you cross out the days as they've passed, that you make a sort of contact point with life's journey every day, a small one, but an important one. So if you were a calendar like this, for example, or a calendar where you cross it out, you tear the page out, drop it away and say, not, oh dear, another day has gone, well, how have I wasted it? But that you hold the moment. The point of stopping is not to regret the past or to plan the future. They don't exist. To hold the moment. This moment is life. In Spirituelle, where we work and live, we have a custom of doing this twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, 12 hours apart. So we stop for a few moments, and we watch a small flame flare up and burn out. It's just a reminder of the passage of life, and a reminder of the gift of life now. Now is the reality. Now is life. Now is the journey. And so perhaps you might like to do that, consciously plan to do it every day for a month or so. using anything you like. It can be a calendar, it can be your cell phone, whatever you practice doing, the pause, standing by a window just for 1 minute and holding the now, holding life now, so that you don't lose contact with the essential journey. And therefore you don't lose contact with the truth of where we have come from, where we're going to, and why I am here with this totally unique journey through space-time.